Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture for November 11th of 2024 is titled "The Unusual Tales of Comet Tsuchinshan-ATLAS." So what do we see here? Well, here we see the prominent comet, and in fact the great comet of 2024, known as Tsuchinshan-ATLAS. And we see the comet imaged here, and we see some very interesting things in the tails. So the tails are a little bit unusual compared to what we see. First of all, we see a very distinct long tail stretching back, which is not unusual, although it was very long. But it also has an anti-tail going the other direction. Now the anti-tail occurs when Earth is in the plane of the orbit of the comet. So we're kind of splitting the comet, and we're seeing part of the tail that has been left behind, a kind of fainter tail from the little bits of material that have been left behind in the orbit. Now normally they all follow behind the comet, but because of the perspective here, they can actually appear to be in front of it, giving us the anti-tail that we see. Now we also notice a distinct dark streak through the comet's tail going backward. So we can see a bright tail on either side as the tail is almost split into two. Now what is that? Well, there could be some dusty material that is then going back behind the comet and blocking out some of the light. And that is one possible explanation for this, although it could also be a shadow of the denser coma tracing back on those brighter dust particles. So we could be seeing a shadow there, or we could be seeing just some dust, darker dust as well. So those are a couple of things that could be causing this type of tail, which, as I said, is a little bit unusual for what we typically see in a comet tail. We also see plenty of other structure in the tail, and the tail is just tiny bits of material which have been vaporized off the head of the comet. Now the head of the comet is completely invisible here. It would be a tiny speck at this scale, only a few kilometers across, and that is just a ball of ice and dusty materials that is then vaporized when it comes in close to our sun. And as it does that, it pushes back all that material. The sun's solar wind and energy will push back that material directly away from us. And depending on how the particles come out, they can be more or less in certain areas. They can give us many of those structures that we see within the tails here. So we can see that not only is there that dark line going down the middle, but that the tail is not completely uniform, and that there are denser and less dense areas within the tail. And a lot of that could be due to the way the material is being vaporized off the surface and then being pushed back. So that was our picture of the day for November 11th of 2024. It was titled "The Unusual Tales of Comet Tsuchinshan-ATLAS." We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture, previewed to be Cosmic Crescent. So we'll see what that is about tomorrow. And until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.